It's January 11th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a medicine that discovers how to spare a life, a lone pilot's first triumph, and the first national lottery. Let's begin. On January 11th, 1922, in the quiet Toronto General Hospital in Canada, death was already waiting. 14-year-old Leonard Thompson lay motionless, his body wasting away from diabetes. His weight just 65 pounds, his breath was shallow. Doctors had done everything they could, and it wasn't enough. At the time, a diagnosis like this was not even an illness, it was a countdown. That night, physicians injected Leonard with an experimental extract, something that had never before been used on humans. But the dose was crude, his body reacted, and only worked partially. Behind the scenes, biochemist J.B. Collop refused to accept defeat. He worked through night, purifying the extract again and again, racing against time. 12 days later, Leonard was injected a second time. This time, his blood sugar fell, his strength returned, and the coma lifted. Doctors called it a miracle. What followed was even more shocking. Refused to profit. They sold the patent for $1, declaring that the drug belonged to the world. And in that moment, a death quietly became survivable, and millions of lives were spared. Greed almost swallowed this cure whole, but millions have been spared because of one humane decision. On January 11th, 1935, while most of the world slept, Amelia Earhart climbed into the cockpit of her Lockheed Vega as darkness pressed from every direction. She was alone, no co-pilot, no radio chatter, just the roar of the engine and nearly 2,400 miles of open Pacific Ocean. One mechanical failure, one navigational error, and she would vanish into the black water below. For more than 18 hours, Amelia Earhart battled exhaustion and violent currents. At times, clouds erased the horizon entirely, leaving her guided only by instruments that could fail at any moment. Hour after hour, fuel dwindled, muscles ached, and eyes burned. Then, at last, the coastline of California emerged from the haze. When Amelia Earhart landed in Oakland, she became the first human to fly solo across the Pacific Ocean, and the world celebrated the triumph. That night, Pacific let her pass. 2 years later, it would claim her forever. On January 11th, 1569, beneath the cold grey skies of London, a strange experiment in change quietly unfolded. England's harbours were rotting, its coastal defences were vulnerable, and Elizabeth I, unwilling to provoke unrest with a new tax, chose a riskier solution. Outside the west wing of St. Paul's Cathedral, crowds gathered in the bitter winter air for England's first state lottery. Nearly 400,000 tickets had been printed, each costing 10 shillings, a fortune to most. Every ticket promised a prize, but the promises came with a curse of waiting. Weeks stretched into months, and names were slowly drawn relentlessly until May. The prizes, silver plates, tapestries, and even a staggering £5,000 jackpot kept people frozen in suspense. Fewer than 1 in 10 had sold, but some houses were desperate and pulled money together only to buy a fraction of a dream. For some, the wait was worth it. For others, fortune never came, and England learned that gambling with hope always has a price. This was not the first lotto, just the first one to be officially recorded. With the earliest signs of lotto coming from the Chinese Han Dynasty, these lotteries are believed to have helped finance major projects like the Great Wall of China, likely where Elizabeth's court got their idea. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next Eerie dose is just a day away.